Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video it is that time of the month again, right before the new Legend release in May 2021, that we are doing our official Legend tier list. Now, if you guys haven't seen any of these videos before, I will leave like a playlist at the end if you guys want to check out some of the other ones, but today we'll be talking about the Legends on OPTC Global and giving them sort of a ranking of where they sort of sit, to do with either being a S tier captain, S tier sub, A tier captain, A tier sub, B tier captain, B tier sub, PvP or support, and sort of putting them into place where I do believe that they sit in terms of, in quotation marks, what is the best legend in the game. So first of all, as always, shout out to the OPTC database for images provided, and shout out to the PvP, the OPTC tier list maker, which I'll leave descriptions for both in the description below. If you guys want to make your own tier lists, make sure to use the database. It helps out quite a lot with the damage calculator, as well as sort of just searching for units for team building, which is really, really good. Unfortunately for me, I and my spoonish ways, as you guys know, accidentally overwrote last month's tier list. So, unfortunately, we are going to have to start from scratch. So, I am going to have to move very, very quickly through some of the base legends. But what is the criteria? How do we rank these legends? And what do we rank them on? So, first of all, we're ranking them on their power, their captain ability, and their special. How much damage they can output, or whatnot. Obviously, a captain in S tier captain will most likely find their way into S tier sub as well. But just because they're an S tier sub doesn't make them a good captain, if that makes sense. But we'll talk about that once we get to the particular character. Utility, so what the special actually does. Is it an orb boost? Is it an attack boost? Does it give you sort of bind, despair removal? Does it have good does the unit have good support options? All that sort of stuff. The next two is their types and their colors. Their types and their classes. So obviously a character that is a free spirit or a cerebral will most likely rank higher on this month's tier list compared to last month, as they are stronger classes than, say, something like Driven or Shooter on OPTC Global. The final criteria is flexibility. So flexibility means, can you use this character on teams where they're just like not even boosted, because they're special and that does so much damage, and they have so much utility that they can actually find their way onto teams where the captain ability doesn't boost them. So that's the criteria. Let's hop into the tier list. As I mentioned, I am going to try and move fairly fast going through all the characters, mainly because there are a lot of legends in the game now, and this is going to fill up pretty quick. Obviously, characters do have some super evolutions as well, so I am going to delete characters that do have super evolutions. I really should have done this before the video, but I will quickly get rid of these characters, as all of these old legends all have super evolutions. But once we get to one that has sort of like a side grade rather than just a regular upgrade, then we will sort of look at that. So, Timeskip Luffy is probably the first one. We're not going to include him on the tier list. He is a free spirit captain, which is really, really strong, but there's just a lot of better free spirit options that you guys can use nowadays. This Law, I'm just going to put him here for now. He's actually quite good as well, but nowadays, like, strikers just aren't that great. So, I just lost him. No, there he is. So, strikers just aren't that, like, crash hot. So, unfortunately for us, we are going to flick the good old man that is Law. Onto V2 Lucci. He's got a super evolution. V1 Lucy. V1 Lucy, I'm actually going to put in B tier sub. With V1 Lucy, he's unevolved. He actually can get that carryover effect still, which is actually really, really strong. So, his super evolution makes him a little bit better, but he can find his way into B tier sub for now. Judge. Honestly, Judge can go into A tier sub for me. I actually use V1 Judge unevolved quite a lot. 7 turns of bind removal. He's an orb booster, and he's a powerhouse as well as a Psi color. So the fact he's Psi is the reason he makes his way up this so high on this tier list at the moment. Mainly because Psi just is very, very good. Dofi is honestly kind of niche, but we can put him into B tier sub because he can do things that other characters literally can't with all of that overkill damage. Robin, B tier sub as well. She has damage negation, which is really, really good. Luffy and Ace, B tier captain, just because they're a free spirit booster. Obviously, there are better options, but they're still a very good free spirit captain once they're in their dual form. V2 Shanks. Honestly, for me, A tier, he's such good. I'm going to put him in A tier sub, mainly because he's got that chain boost mechanic. He can give you a full border orbs through block orbs, and he's a 2.25 times attack booster. So, still very, very good. Akainu, with his limit break expansion, you could easily make an argument that he's an A tier captain, but unfortunately, he sort of just falls short in that regard because he's just a little bit outdated. But he's, as a sub, he can still be a very, very, very good orb booster. So the next character is V2 Aokiji, again A tier sub, 2.25 times orb attack boost, as well as manipulating orbs, very similar to Akainu. This guy works great with Shanks, actually, Shanks crew, so very, very good. Unevolved Luffy can find his way into B tier sub. He's still a 2 times attack booster. He's quick unit, which is going to get very, very good moving forward as well. Nami, we don't really care about too much. Tessero is definitely, oh, man, with his limit break key, he's definitely an A tier captain, but you have to limit break key him, that's the thing. So at the moment, he's just a very good sub, but honestly, he's mainly used in PvP. You can't discredit what this guy can do. He has a very good support as well, 3.25 times chain lock. But honestly, like, just sort of talking across the board, 3.25 times chain lock, orb manipulation, fixed damage, very, very good unit. V1 Katakuri Unsuper Awakened can be very, very good because he can give a conditional against delay, but like, look, there's just better options that can do that. So for the meantime, we will give him the flick. On to V2 Sanji now. Now, if you guys have seen my stuff, I hate this unit so much, honestly. I'm gonna put him as B tier sub, but like, you could make an argument that he's a B tier captain because he can output a lot of damage. Thing is, fighters just kind of suck at the moment, so unfortunately, I'm just gonna put him there. Kung Fu Luffy, B tier sub, Rainbow Attack Booster, threat for 2 turns, Threshold, he's still very, very good, can be used. Alright, on to Wako. Wako, I'm actually going to drop down to B tier captain. Now, Wako's still very, very good, don't get me wrong. Very good power, very good classes, very good colors. But the reason I'm taking him down from A tier captain to B tier captain is just he's so damn slow, and there's just so many better options out there that you just don't need to be using this unit like you used to, as there's just so many options out there. Shiki, honestly, Shiki I'm going to literally remove from this tier list. Shiki is just absolute dookie, to be honest. So I will remove him. I just want to show you that I haven't forgotten about him. So there he is. He's going now. So everyone say goodbye to Shiki. Brook. Honestly, Brook is a very, very good sub. Like a very, very good sub. So I will put him in B tier. He does make orbs matching. He does heal. So he does a lot of good stuff, but he's just sort of not there in terms of like as a legend. Like if he's a rare recruit, he'd be awesome. Jinbei BT sub, mainly because decks just don't have that many good attack boosters. It's another good reason why Luffy will find his way here. Just decks really struggles with attack boosting characters, unfortunately. Zephyr, another unit. I'm going to put him here just so you guys can see I haven't forgotten about him. He's going in the garbage. Just an absolute dookie unit. Carrot A tier captain. The fact that she can bypass barriers, she's basically just like a better Blackbeard, to be honest. V2 Katakuri, I think I removed him from my last month's tier list, but like, he's still a B tier captain. Like, if you can be bothered to like actually get his tap timing, very similar to Hawkins. Honestly, he's just a better Hawkins in my opinion, but like each to their own. Bardo Cavendish, definitely an A tier sub for now, but once Driven get their resurgence, their switchability is so damn good that when Driven get a resurgence, they're going to be very, very good. Jack, I feel like we have to just put Jack as B tier captain because he's quality of life with doubling XP. Dex Sabo, definitely a B tier sub for me. Chain Locker, Orb Booster, makes orbs matching with his Sailor ability. He's quite good. You can honestly make an argument. Honestly, I'll accept an argument to make him a B tier captain. He can output a lot of damage. As long as you keep killing stuff, he's very, very strong. So I feel like B tier captain's probably the best spot. He's a lot better than some of these B tier subs, so we'll put him there. Onto Jumanji. Jumanji's still an A tier captain for my eyes. Still one of the best powerhouse captains in the actual game, to be honest. 4.25. Their switchability is great. Really good special. So not much else to say about Jumanji. They're an A tier captain for sure. Cracker, I'm going to put as an A tier sub. I don't use Cracker all that much, but he's about to get his Super Evolution on Global as well. Well, soon. But Chain Booster, Orb Manipulation, Color Affinity, you can't discredit what this man can do. As a captain, he's pretty dookie though. Mihawk, I'm going to put V2 Mihawk in B tier captain, probably for the same reason that Sanji's there, honestly. I don't like either of them, to be honest. Chain locking captains, in my opinion, suck, but it is what it is. Zoro. Honestly, for slashes, you could argue that he's a big B tier captain. Again, really don't like using this unit. The V2 slashes kind of missed the mark, to be honest. Laffy, my boy. I'm still putting Laffy in S tier sub. I use this guy all the time. Great supports, very good special, great switchability, very, very strong. Very similar to Big Mom that came out with him. Mainly because of Kazuno is why she sits so high. 3.5 times chain lock and the base stat boost. Not many characters can do that. There are a little bit more characters that are coming out that can do it, but she, at the moment, is one of the only ones. Fortunately, she does have a restriction, but it is what it is. Next, we've got Sabo Koala. Sabo Koala, amazing special, completely removing negative orb enable, as well as a 1.5 times color affinity boost, which is really, really strong. And a very, very good special with block orbs and attack boost. Onto Neko and Inu. Honestly, they're probably an A tier sub for me. If you want to like really get down to the nooks and crannies of it, for cerebral teams, they can be very, very good. Color affinity, orb boost, good switchability. So A tier sub. I don't use them that much, but look, they are very, very good. Vivi Rebecca V1, probably one of the best subs in the entire game. Definitely S tier sub. No changes there. 2.5 times chain lock on the switch. Color affinity, removal of damage reduction, defense up. Very, very good. Shirishiri. V1 Shirishiri is definitely an S tier sub. I don't use them that much, but they've got a great switchability, very, very good healing, rainbow orbs, which just cannot be manipulated, which is absolutely great. So that's something that we are definitely going to chuck up in the S tier sub. Onto Stampede Luffy. Stampede Luffy is definitely an A tier captain. Despair removal and paralysis removal in captain is always good. Fortunately, his special kind of lacks a bit, but he is a Psy unit and has very good classes, mainly Powerhouse, so he can easily find his way into A tier captain. The big dog Kaido. Kaido, for me, like, honestly, he's pretty much, like, with the amount of use that this guy gets and, like, how easy he makes content, you could easily argue he's an S tier captain, like, but he does get cucked by normal attacks only, which therefore makes him an A tier captain in my eyes. For hard content, you're never using this guy, but for easy content, you're always using this guy, so do what you want with that. Onto Halloween Ace. Halloween Ace, very similar to Stampede Luffy. Removes special bind and special reverse. Very good special. Problem is he boosts fighters and shooters, which suck. I mainly use this guy for support, to be honest. Like, that's basically where I use this guy all the time. And that's really where he shines, to be honest. Like, you can use him for content. He's very, very good for content. But his biggest perk is support. So, I'm going to put him in support for now. Same with V2 Nami. V2 Nami is very, very good. But I only ever use her for her support. Like, ever. Like, I don't use her for anything else. She sets the defense to 0 with her support, which is really, really strong. Komurasaki, A tier captain. Unfortunately, she got a doo-doo treatment on her super evolution. But she's still very, very good in her base, like, without her super evolution. So, 2 times orbs, 2 times attack. Manipulating orbs to make them matching. Damage reduction, healing. She's just very, very good. Chopper. Chopper with his limit break key, honestly, for me, is an A tier captain. Rainbow 4 times is great. But you're pretty much always using this guy as a sub. Like, he's just basically removes 5 turns of every single debuff in the goddamn entire game. And with his limit break key, I think he goes down to like 12 turns or something like that. Why can't I put you at the front though, Chopper? Chopper, stay at the... No, you know what? You can stay there. Screw you. Luffy and Zoro. Luffy and Zoro just age better and better every single time a new release comes out. On Japan, they are Law's best friend. Their switchability is amazing. Their special's really, really good. Chain lock and a very high orb boost, provided you can get the T&D orbs off, but I use them like all the time in long content. They've got Luffy in the name, so a lot of really good supports. Zoro has a lot of very good supports as well. Very similar to Subamask. Subamask, just amazing sub. Incredible sub. Legit T&D orbs, which is very, very good. As he makes the matching, he can pop off his special for a 2.5 times attack boost every single, like, basically in the same turn, which is great. Nami and Robin. Nami and Robin was a weird one, right? Like, I want to put them in A tier sub, mainly because their orb boost is so damn high. Like, 2.5 is great for 2 colors, and one of them being Int, which is very, very good. But I just always use other characters besides this unit. But you can't discredit what they can do. They have a Nami, so Nami has some of the best subs in the game, which is just really, really strong. Next, we got Pudding. Pudding, in my eyes, is an S tier sub. She can literally do something that no one else can, so therefore she's an S tier sub. Carrying over that effect, giving you cooldowns, giving you matching orbs. Very, very underrated sub in my eyes, and a very, very good unit. Onto Arlong Crew. Arlong Crew for me is an A tier sub, mainly because they can be a 2.5 times attack boost, but their switchability gives you that base stats, which is really cool. They also have Special Rewind as a sailor, and then they give you cooldowns, which is even better. Next, we've got my favorite unit in the entire game, especially on global, which is Shank's crew. S tier captain, easy peasy, end of turn damage, chain lock, you name it, this unit has it, legit. I think the only thing they don't have is healing, but I'm not going to ramble on about them because you guys have probably heard enough about Shank's crew tuning in on my streams and in my videos and stuff like that, so appreciate all the love and support. Onto Mihawk and Perona, another S tier sub, another unit that literally only has one unit that can do what they can do. So therefore, S tier sub. The negative effect is great. Lets you take less damage, lets you deal more damage. Conditional that can go through immunity. And their switchability very, very strong. V3 Rayleigh. Honestly, I've been using V3 Rayleigh so much lately. And I kind of want to put him in A tier sub. But he's still dookie. The fact that you can only use his special once, the only special in that turn, is very, very restrictive. But when he works... man, he damn works. 2 times attack, 2 times orbs, go through barriers, go through defensive effects. Very, very good for actually the Hawkins Forest, if you guys are struggling with that. Sorry, the Kid Forest. V3 Aokiji, honestly, for me, is probably an A tier sub. I hate this unit, mainly because of, trauma. But, still very, very good. Orb boost, color affinity, very, very strong. V2 Snake Man, definitely an S tier captain. There's not much to be said about him. Full orb manipulation, super typing is amazing, attack and an orb boost. He's just very, very strong. Super type Sabo, honestly, he's so dookie, but B tier captain, the only reason he's here is because Bullet is so damn strong. That's literally the only reason he's viable. If Bullet didn't exist, this guy would suck. I mean, my IT still does suck, but strength is a very, very good color, and he is free spirit, so we do need to give him the respect he deserves. He is probably better than all these other units on this list as well, so there's that. Super type Katakuri, A tier captain, basically because he has the conditional that can go through immunity. Very, very good being in super typing. Honestly, Blackbeard isn't... look, Blackbeard's a weird one, right? I kind of want to drop him into A tier sub, but he's still a 5 times captain to himself, and he can still output some of the highest damage in the game, so I guess we'll put him in A tier captain because of his super typing as well. Same with Kid. Kid's the best dex captain in the game at the moment until Zoro is released. He can still do some crazy things, Kid, and he's a lot of fun. He's actually one my favorite dex character in the game, I think, at the moment. Moving on to the dookiness that is Hawkins. We're going to put him as B tier captain. If you can be bothered to use this unit, go for gold. I understand he can do a lot of things, but all these characters do it better. All the A tier... I would rather use every A tier sub than use Hawkins, but I get it. People like him, and he's going to go there. Wano Law, still aging like goddamn fine wine. Worst case scenario, Law may drop into S tier sub at some point, but he's still such a good captain. I don't really use him as a captain. I use him as a sub more, but he claps content, proper claps content so easily. And with V2 Shirashiri, who we are going to talk about at the end of this video, he just got so much better, so much better. Even with Luffy Sanji, he got so much better. But yeah, S tier captain for me. On to V3 Akainu. I totally forgot this guy even existed the other day, actually. Shout out to my boy Fox 10 Pirates. He'll know what I'm talking about. But conditional boost, if you can get that conditional boost off, you do so much goddamn damage with this particular unit. He's a very good captain. The only downside is his dual units sort of cuck him. So that's why he's in A tier captain and not S tier. I really love using Akainu. He's a strength unit too, which is great. And he's fighter shooter, which doesn't sound great, but that has come in handy for me so many times. Same with this Sabo as well. Smoker. Honestly, for me, I'm going to put Smoker in A tier sub. I dislike this guy as a captain. I heavily dislike this guy as a captain. But he's got a very, very good special. If his super typing was better, I would put him into A tier captain. That's sort of why I can sort of justify Blackbeard, because Blackbeard can just hit stupid numbers. And as a captain, you can get that even higher. You can hybrid him up. But with Smoker, using dual units with this guy, it just totally ruins him. But as a sub, 2.5 times attack or a 2.5 times orb boost, I ain't discrediting that. On to Sugar now. Sugar's probably an S tier sub, but I very rarely use her as a sub. I do use her as a captain still, but I would rather use Shank's crew, to be honest, when it comes to quick captains. So I'm going to drop her into A tier captain. You could definitely make an argument that she's an S tier sub, but I would just rather bring other characters over her. Super type Boa for me is still an S tier captain. She's got she has the best super typing in the game, in my opinion, on global anyway. And because Sai is so strong, that is literally why I have her so high. Obviously, once the resurgence of Sai starts to die down, like it has on JP, I will drop her lower. But at the moment, she claps everything. There's nothing that this girl can't do. And she's my base, so, you know, she's awesome. On to Odin. Odin is an S tier sub only because he can make Wano orbs. He does still need a lot of help, and honestly, like, if someone argued to me that he's an A tier captain, honestly, I would cop that. But the fact that he can still do Wano orbs as a sub makes him so damn viable for stuff like Kazuna. Obviously, when you're running Roger, you're basically always running goddamn Odin. If you're not, what are you doing? On to the best unit on global at the moment. Don't even at me. Like, he's still the king, and he will be for a very long time. Roger's very, very good. He's very, very strong. He does something that literally no one else can do. So, like, don't even at me. So, on to the Halloween slashes now. Separating Mihawk and Law is honestly very, very hard. I cannot separate them in terms of like how good they are as captains. Mihawk's paralysis removal and then Law being despair removal is the reason why they're so high. As for Halloween Shanks, I am going to drop Halloween Shanks into B tier captain. I do think that he, like, as an int-based captain, he can do better things than Law and Mihawk, but you can easily run 2 Mihawks and 2 Laws. Running 2 double Shanks, unless you like have that color affinity set like for most of the run, it can be very detrimental. He's still very, very good, and honestly, like, I would put him in A tier sub. Honestly, I feel like he deserves to be an A tier sub, mainly because, like, if I'm not using V2 Shanks, I'm using Halloween Shanks, and if I'm not using Halloween Shanks on an in-team, I'm using V2 Shanks, so I can't really separate the two of them, but I do understand he gets a lot of hate, and I do understand why, but when he works, like, he works, like, and he's a very, very good hybrid option, which these two really don't have, but I guess, like I said, you could easily... He's a better captain than that, so... Very similar to Smoker, actually, I think, but he's just way better than Smoker. Smoker's special ability is just way better, though. I definitely will give Smoker the credit there. On to Luffy and Sanji now. Luffy and Sanji, definitely an S tier captain. The overheal is broken. Don't even at me. Like, I understand they're boring. I understand they're long. But, look, I gave justice to goddamn Hawkins, and I gave justice to Katakuri, who are under the same boat of taking too long and taking damage and shit, so... Luffy Sanji, S tier captain. Germa for me, S tier sub. Being able to switch into your captain and then avoid certain mechanics is so much fun and is ridiculously good. So definitely S tier sub, as well as being like super effective against all types, which is great. Germa I will put as an A tier captain, mainly because they remove despair with their captain. Their special is very, very good. They have slasher in their classing, which actually does them a lot of justice, as well as powerhouse. Plus, they have some pretty good supports as well, which is nice. Big Mom and Kaido. Big Mom and Kaido are definitely S tier captains. Big Mom versus Kaido, they're honestly, to me, they are on the same level. I prefer Big Mom, but I can register that they are both very, very good. And the fact that you can sort of use them as hybrid captains works really, really well too. So there's also that. Alright, so the next 3 units we're going to talk about later. Let's quickly just pump out those old Super Evolutions. V1 Whitebeard is amazing for PvP. V1 Boa 6+ has a very, very good support. 6+ Sabo is Dookie. Super Evolution Usopp can be a BT sub because he can literally just still get delay off, which is great. Original Tank Man has a very good support. V1 Rayleigh 6+, definitely an S tier sub. Honestly, he's got one of the best supports in the game, but his special, his crewmate, reducing his own cooldowns, 7 turns of Blind, Despair, and Paralysis is just absolutely god tier. So he's definitely an S tier sub. 6+ Lucci's Dookie. V1 Shanks, very actually good in PvP, but also has quite a good support for Psy units, which is great. Kuzan, great in PvP, same with Ace. Sengoku 6+ is Dookie. Hody's pretty Dookie as well. V1 Mihawk can go B1 sub because he can still do something that no one else can. Zoro V1 is great support. So is Law, being an orb booster on Corazon. Rainbow. Bardo with 3 turns of paralysis removal is really good. V1 Law can give you cooldowns on the end of the stage, which is great. Croc is Dookie. Kizaru, great in PvP. You guys all know how great he is. Buggy, BT captain because he dupes drops. Like, honestly, like, I'd put him and Jack up here just because, like, their quality of life. V1 Jinbei 6+ is actually going to be an S tier sub. 100% S tier sub for me. Mainly because he has special, completely removes special rewind, which is actually goddamn so strong. And definitely flies under the radar with, like, how actually good that is. So we're going to bump him up into S tier sub. There are better options, but he's just still like, I still use him so much. V1 Judge 6+, honestly, I don't ever use this unit, but he can still do some cool stuff because he's driven and powerhouse, which means he works well with Katakuri and Blackbeard. Magellan B tier sub, mainly for his heal, to be honest, but he can, if you can get the poison off, he's very, very strong. 6+ Corazon, definitely an S tier sub. I love this unit. I would, if you can, limit break key this guy. His cooldown goes down significantly. Great heal. Can use this lore as a support as well to get an orb boost into his special as well. He's just very, very good. And all is Dookie. Sanji has a very good support. Frankie, you could honestly argue Frankie is a B tier captain, to be honest. If you deck the team out in fighters, you can do a lot of damage. And the big father effect, the big dad, what is it called? The General Frankie, I'm thinking of Capone. The General Frankie stopping blowaway can actually be pretty handy. Hakuba, good support. That's about it. Dogstorm is actually quite good in PvP. Neko, however, has a great support. Lucci has a very good support as well. He's a shooter booster, which just makes him dookie, but whatever. V1 Snake Man is still, like, honestly still holding his own. I'd put him in A tier captain. When you use his special, he has such a low cooldown as well. Like, he can still do some crazy things. He's powerhouse and he's strength, which is why he's so high, because you can hybrid him up so well. And you can still do some crazy things with this unit, man. Like, he's, like, for giving him out for basically free, like, you can't discredit what he can do. Boa is a great free spirit color affinity booster, 2 times, I'm pretty sure, with her super evolution. V1 Dofi 6+ is, like, arguably the best Rumble unit in the entire game. Like, he's basically on every single goddamn team. Like, he's still so good, even on Japan. V1 Big Mom. Honestly, V1 Big Mom, like, is just so annoying to use. But I actually completed Navy with her, so I'm going to put her in B tier captain. Like, if you can, like, strategically plan that hunger, you can do some cool stuff, man. Like, some really, really cool stuff. V1 Isu, I know, has a decent support, but... Wait, this is V2, isn't it? Yeah, nah, V2 sucks. Akainu, very, very good support for strength units. That's the big reason I use him. But you could argue that he's like a B tier sub, B tier captain. I'm going to put him in support for now, though, because he's just... That's where I use him the most. I just sort of can't find another spot for him. Nami, probably a B tier sub. Well, you could probably say B tier captain. She's probably one of the best Dex captains in the game, to be honest. In my eyes, she's better than Hawkins, so, like, I'm going to put her up there. On to V1 Shirahoshi. Let's put her in A tier sub. Honestly, like, I would say she's an S tier sub, but with Shirashari being a thing, like, with giving rainbow orbs, Shirashari just sort of does it better. And the fact that she's up there in the S tier sub sort of means that... Oh, that was too much. I'm trying to make this fit to the screen, but I think that is how we're going to have to look at it. Alright, cool. On to Bullet now. Now, Bullet I've normally got as an S tier captain. And you can still argue to me that Bullet is an S tier captain. Mainly because he's super effective against all types. He can clear a lot of content as well. But nowadays, like, I just never really use him anymore. Like, I just, like, it's not that I don't like using him. Same as probably Snake Man. Like, they're still very good. But I just like to use these other units more. But in saying that, he's super effective against all types. He's still the fastest at clearing all the GOPS challenges, and I do understand that. But nowadays, look, there's just better options with all these 5 times captains floating around. He has 4.75 to himself, but, you know, it is what it is. On to 6+ Katakuri. I actually love this unit. I think he's so much fun. Shout out to, obviously, the man, the myth, the legend, the king, Toadski. Loves this unit, as well as my boy Kruby. He always loves using this unit as well. And honestly, I can see why. He's a lot of fun. Getting that guaranteed conditional with his limit break key too is very, very good. Sabo, or Lucy 6+, A tier captain. Honestly, probably an A tier sub nowadays, to be honest. Mainly because of the carryover effect. But he still boosts 3, like, very good classes. And he is a Sabo unit, so he has a lot of good supports. I'm going to put him in A tier sub for now, because that's basically where I use him the most. Robin, Super Evolution, Robin. She's probably she's just, like, honestly a better version of her original counterpart. So we're just going to delete her original counterpart. Just mainly because you used her for her damage reduction, but it is what it is. 6+ Marco. Probably an A tier sub. Yeah. 2 times orb boost, a massive heal. And if you're using someone that has overheal mechanic, you also have like that beautifulness that is the healing. But like there are just sort of better units, to be honest. And so because of that, I think I'm just gonna drop him down to B tier sub. Because like he can be used, but it's just like, well, I have this other unit that I could use, so I'm probably gonna use them instead. If you catch my drift. Okay, let me just make this look nice. Okay, onto Whitebeard now. V2 Whitebeard, or sorry, Quickbeard. He's, look, you could probably argue that he's an A tier captain. Very similar to Jumanji, actually, and Kaido. The thing with Jumanji and Kaido is, Jumanji and V1, Quickbeard, is you're pretty much always using Kaido if you can, but you can hybrid them up very, very well, and you can do some crazy stuff. Honestly, most of the time, he's used as a sub nowadays. But for me, I use him for his support. His despair removal on Ace is very, very strong. Like, very, very strong. And for me, I am going to put him in support, because that's basically where I use him most. Very similar to Halloween Ace. Like, I'm not discrediting what they can do, but for me, their support is way more viable than anything else. V1 6+ Fuji is great in Rumble, but that's really about it. Rayleigh, 6+ Rayleigh, honestly, very, very good unit. Arguably, you could put him in A tier sub, but where he shines the most is in Rumble. And for that reason, I'm going to put him in PvP, because that's literally where he shines the best. So, it is what it is. 6+ Jinbei. Oh, he has a Super Evolution. I always forget that this guy has a Super Evolution. So, let's just get rid of that. And we're going to put him in B tier sub. Just basically because decks just don't have better options in terms of attack boosters. They just don't have much going for them. Onto Blackbeard. I'm going to put Blackbeard as a B tier captain. Just because he can do things that, like, no one else can in terms of... If you build his team right, like, you can do some cool stuff. And, like, he can beat hard content. He's shown that he can beat hard content. Capone, you could argue, is a B tier captain as well. But, honestly, he's used more as a sub for Katakuri teams. But in saying that, where he shines the most is, again, PvP. He has a very, very unique Big Father effect, which is really, really strong. And he is used quite a bit as a sub for Katakuri, but like where he shines the best for me is in Rumble. I hate versing that guy in Rumble because he just takes so much to kill. 6+ Garp. 6+ Garp is so damn strong. Like really, really strong. He's never really used as a captain, but you could definitely use him as a captain. He's mainly used as a sub, but for me, I always use this man as support. That's sort of the big place where I use him. But like I have used him quite a bit as a sub as well. So for now, I'm going to put him in A tier sub and sort of leave him there. Okay, onto the 3 new units. Now this is what we've came for. I will leave a timestamp in the description below for you guys, because this video is like, what, 30 minutes long already, as we did have to go back through all of this jargon. Okay, so onto the new units. Let's start with V2, Vivi, and Rebecca. V2, Vivi, and Rebecca for me, honestly, just sort of came out of nowhere and blew me away. Like, as a captain, they are awesome, as they are a color affinity captain. And the beautiful thing about them compared to other color affinity captains like Katakuri, and I can't remember who the other one is off the top of my head, but the big upside to this unit is they are a dual unit. Now, as a dual units normally don't make good captains, but you can switch between Dex and Quick, which is really, really good, because if you don't have color affinity or you have color negativity, you can just switch and then you can change that. They've got a 2x attack and a 2x orb boost for Cerebrals and Strikers. Cerebrals being one of the best classes in the entire game. Their switchability will give you the chain multiplier buff, so very similar to Jumanji, which is very underrated. You can get a lot of extra damage output from that, as well as their special giving utility to remove special bind and bind. Now with their switchability, they can also remove special bind, so it's basically just built-in fear. You can switch with them, remove the special bind on yourself, use their special, remove the special bind on everyone else. Bob's your uncle, see you later, let's move on. So, very, very good unit. Honestly, like, I use them... As a Cerebral captain, I probably use them the most. Like, I cannot really see any other character I use more as a Cerebral captain. Besides maybe Shanks' crew. But Shanks' crew I normally use as a sub for this particular unit. Because they're Cerebral as well, they have a lot of very good potential. And I think they're, when they're in their dual form, they're a 4.25 times captain with the color affinity. So they've got one of the highest captain abilities in the game, provided you are hitting with color affinity. and their switchability being able to be abused with something like Law, which means, and Raid Crocodile, makes them very, very, very strong. Alongside this particular unit, they are even stronger, and in my opinion, this is the best sub in the game, like, easily. V2 Shirasheri, or maybe V1 Vivi Rebecca, you could argue, I could definitely cop an argument for V1 Vivi Rebecca over them, but Shirasheri just basically literally remove, like, Despair, Slot Bind, and Bind with their switch ability, as well as giving a monster heal. They give you the overheal mechanic with their switch ability, which is just fantastic, and they give the biggest chain buff in the entire game. With like 1-0 Law or V3 Law, these guys are ridiculous. On a V3 Boa team, these guys are absolutely ridiculous. They can be used on so many teams to provide so much for that particular team that it's just outrageous. The 1.2 times chain buff is just like a nice little bonus, but their sub, like their utility is just absolutely god tier, like ridiculously god tier. They make hard content so easy. They completely remove paralysis, which is always going to be good, and they remove 6 turns of despair, 7 with their switch. So as a captain, you could honestly argue that they're very viable as well because of the healing, but they are quite slow, and most of the time you are going to use this unit as a sub rather than anything else, as they are literally, I would say that they hold the title for the best sub in the game. On to the next unit now, and this is the final unit we are going to talk about. This particular unit is actually awesome, and you could easily argue that they have just as good sub potential as V2 Shirasheri, but as a captain, they can do wild things. And after just actually saying, like not too long ago, that I use V2 Viva Rebecca mainly as a Cerebral captain, well, I take it back. This is the character I use as my captain. 5 times captain to Cerebrals and Fighters. They actually make some old units very, very good. Laffy got a huge buff as they are a fighter and a Cerebral unit, and then when they dual form, they're a fighter. You've got V1 Rayleigh, who is a fighter as well. Oh, no, he becomes a... Yeah, no, he's a fighter slasher, which is another very good option. You have Corazon, who's a Cerebral. You have the 2 new V2 girls, who can just provide a lot for your team. This particular unit is just absurd. They have one of the best switch abilities in the game, which means that they can heal back 25% of the damage taken in the previous stage, and you only need to switch once. Once you switch, every piece of damage you take after that is accumulated. They give themselves a matching orb through Slot Bind and Block Orbs. Their special gives a 2.25 times color ability to their 2 classes, which are Cerebral and Fighter. They have 2 different colors, which makes them even, like, very similar to Viva Rebecca, makes their color affinity just way more viable. Unfortunately for like good old Halloween Shanks down here, he's only an int unit, which means that his color affinity is only when you are fighting Psi units. But with Sanji and Pudding, you can be Dex or you can be Quick, which means you have 2 different types of color affinity depending on the content. And the fact that you can give yourself a matching orbs means that switching is not an issue whatsoever. Another thing I forgot to mention about Shirasheri is they give Rainbow Orbs as well, which is very, very underrated. They don't change Block Orbs though, but the fact that they can give Rainbow Orbs definitely makes them very, very strong. But with Sanji and Pudding, they can also remove damage reduction and threshold completely, and that will always be good, like always. And that's the reason why V1 Viva Rebecca has aged so well, and that's why V2 Shirasheri is going to age so well as well. So the 3 new legends are very, very good. I do think that Sanji Pudding is obviously the best of the 3. V1 Shirasheri is not that close behind. Sorry, V2 Shirasheri isn't close behind. And then V2 Viva Rebecca being very, very good. Just sort of not that essential. But for newer players, the fact that they can just remove Special Blind on themselves and not have to worry about fear actually makes them a lot better than what you would think that they are. But that's going to wrap up the tier list for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Sorry I had to go back through the whole thing once again, but I will save this and I will not be deleting this, fingers and toes crossed. But if you guys did enjoy this one, make sure to smash the like button for me. If you have any opinions, any thoughts, if you don't agree with my tier list, that is fine. Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. But just remember that this is my personal opinion from utilizing these characters, as I do own every single one of them in-game. But as I mentioned, guys, if you did enjoy this, smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, most importantly, wherever you are in this beautiful world, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, guys, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Lights!